Hi everyone, since the last devlog I've been working on a bunch of major new features all relating to unlocking new items to build and controlling player progression in the game. For those new here, Lumber Mill is a factory builder and management game about constructing a timber production empire. The first thing I did though was begin work on a new employee design. I came up with the current look for employees quite early in development and it has a few problems. It doesn't really match the game's art style anymore, and there are some technical issues with it that I now know how to solve. I learned a lot from developing the original employees though, which I can take to create an improved design. The main requirements for the new design are, firstly, it must be smaller than the previous one, and it should also be simple enough that different animations are quick and easy to put together, while still allowing for varied skin tones, hairstyles, and genders. After a bit of messing around, this is the first potential design I've arrived at. I want to make a few more before I commit to a design, so I decided to sleep on that and move on to the main features for this video, research and the tech tree. Before getting into that though, this video is sponsored by Core. Core is a free game development platform powered by the Unreal Engine that supports the entire process of game creation, from designing and building to publishing and playing games. If you're interested in getting into game development, Core is a great way to get started. It has thousands of art, music and sound assets, all for free, which you can combine to create anything you want. In a previous video, I built this tropical island setting complete with waterfalls, all from parts provided within Core. There's no need to write any code, however if you do want to, Core supports scripting in Lua, which I use myself to build 2 Core games, and it's really quite versatile. You can also edit and remix games created by others directly within the platform, which is a great way to learn how they were put together. If you follow the link in the description, you can download Core and get started as a game developer. Now, I get a lot of comments about how I spend a lot of time reworking and redesigning features. And that's true, I do often revisit older features, but there are a couple of important reasons for that. I've grown a lot as a game designer since I first worked on many of the older areas of the game, and also good management games can benefit hugely from iterative design. Sometimes you get a feature just right on the first attempt, while others can take a few design passes before they can sit properly amongst the other interwoven systems. I want to show every aspect of development with these videos, and for a game like this, that often means making improvements and changes to previously visited areas. The reason I'm saying all of this is because in this devlog, I'm returning to what has turned out to be the most tricky system to get right. I first implemented the solution to unlocking new things to build back in June 2019. I called it Research, basing the design on the simple but satisfying research system from Planet Coaster. You'd select a research category, set a budget, wait for the progress bar to fill, and you'd end up with a randomly selected item from the category you chose. In the context of this game, however, it wasn't fun at all. You'd often want a specific machine or item to be unlocked, and the game would give you something else entirely, forcing you to start again and wait for the progress bar to fill, only for another unwanted item to get unlocked. For attempt number 2, I went for a very simple system in the build menu. If you hadn't yet unlocked an item, you just clicked and held on it in the build menu, paying a set fee for the research, which would reveal other unlockables in the menu. This was okay, at least now the player had a way of choosing what to research, but it wasn't really an interesting decision for the player, and unlocking new things didn't feel anywhere near as satisfying or important as it should. At the time, this was really just a temporary solution, with today's major overhaul planned quite far in the future once other areas have been given attention. Now the game's finally at a point where I can consider research again, so let's get into it. The greenhouse is the main research building. A new employee, the arborist, works in the greenhouse to conduct research, each contributing to research points which can then be spent to unlock new items and technologies. The more you invest in greenhouses and arborists, the more research will be conducted. Before starting on the interior details for the greenhouse, I set up the greenhouse object in Unity so I could test the sprite while drawing. I added that to the list of buildable objects in the game and created a little test camp with the greenhouse. My initial reaction was that it was a bit too big alongside the trees and other buildings, so I lowered the roof by a few pixels and got to work on the rest of the building's details. I added vines to the outside of the building and tinted the windows a bit so I could make the back-facing windows opaque, as transparency isn't ideal for performance in Unity. After many hours of work, I finally arrived at these 4 rotations for the greenhouse building. As this building takes up 4 tiles rather than just 1, each rotation needed to be sliced into 3 separate sprites in order to render correctly, as the rear of the building needs to be treated as if it's further back in the world than the front of the building. That meant adding 3 separate sprites to the greenhouse object, each with a lightweight component to handle rotations, which I originally created for the dock building. With all that set up, the finished greenhouse building looked like this. It was then time to put together the tech tree. If you were wondering why this devlog took me so long, this is why. I started with just some very basic UI blocks for generating the layout. I also set up all of the backend classes and decided to use a free open source Unity plugin called Xnode to make rearranging and creating new tech tree nodes super easy on my end. I added the basic node prefab to the tech tree generator so I could begin work on the code to actually generate the tree layout. Unfortunately, the problem that needs solving here is actually much more complex than I initially thought. I wanted to be able to set up the tech tree in Xnode without setting any screen positions, and then get Unity to put all that data into a nice tree layout so I don't have to spend all my time manually adjusting positions every time I add or rearrange the nodes. After a bit of searching, I discovered the Reingold-Tilford algorithm, designed deep in the 80s specifically to solve this problem. Based on a simple test tree, I eventually got the tree layout working as expected. None of the nodes overlap and everything has enough space to breathe. So it was time to move on to the fun stuff, actually creating the interface elements that make up the tech tree. I started with the nodes themselves. Each node has an icon, unlock cost shown in research blue, and a localized title. Localization is handled by a custom component I built a few months back, and I also added a progress bar which fills as the player unlocks a node, masking the price text so it can change color at the bar's boundary. I kept the click and hold action from the previous system, as it's important to ensure the player doesn't accidentally spend their hard-earned research points by misclicking, and also to build a bit of tension before the payoff of actually unlocking the node. Another key part of this interface is the information box, which displays next to nodes when you hover over them. This gives all of the detailed information about the node, a text description of the node, and a list of all the items that are unlocked. All of this data is grabbed from the Xnode graph and laid out nicely in this interface. I created Y at all. After many frustrating attempts, I eventually found the free UI extensions package, which has a nice UI line renderer. The first basic lines look like this, and I also added a blue outline effect to give a bit more feedback to mouse over for unlockable nodes in the tree. I then got to work on the ability to actually click and hold to unlock. On first attempt, I made the classic mistake of mixing up X and Y, while also managing to get the bars the wrong way around in Unity in unlocked. I also created a third, where the lines between nodes have outlines, but after a lot of time staring at each, decided that variation 2 was the best, with this being the final result. Do let me know in the comments what your preferred paths for different items and technologies. I do intend to expand this.
Всем привет! Это не то.
This is a day in the life of a Japanese delivery person. This is Yasuho, 22-year-old living in Tokyo, and she's just waking up to start her day.
Да нет, понял. Ну вот нет, вот надо. Вот нет. Ну вот это есть на самом деле. Нет, наоборот, наоборот.
She lives alone in this newly built 1K apartment, and like many Japanese, she prefers to take a bath at night just before she goes to sleep. Oh nice, she's sporting mop slippers.
Наоборот, надо, это сначала. вот это вот как надо. Вот я говорю. Нет, нет.
Yasuo, how long does it take you to wear makeup?
僕はだいたい10分から15分ぐらいはかかります。
I guess she doesn't eat breakfast in her apartment. She commutes to work by bike, taking about only 10 minutes to get to the office. In fact, it's pretty rare in Tokyo for someone to live right next to the office, as most workers commute on average about 1 hour by train one way. Also, compared to other Japanese workers, her day starts a little earlier, so living nearby is ultra convenient. Yasuho works as a delivery person at Sagawa Express, one of the largest transportation companies in Japan, with more than 50,000 employees spread across 400 offices throughout the country.
Alright, so Yasuo should be coming around the corner right now. Let's see how much she slept this morning.
Good morning.
Что
Did you go
такое?
to sleep last night?
Чем греет? Чем греет это?
Oh, she's changed into her Sagawa uniform. Very sharp. What did you just buy?
朝ごはんのクッキーとおかりスエット買いました。
Okay, she's eating a chocolate chip cookie for breakfast. Pocari Sweat is a popular sports drink in Japan. This is the go-to drink when Japanese want to quickly get hydrated.
Вот мне надоело.
So this is the main Sagawa shipping terminal in the Tokyo area, and where all shipments are sorted every morning. She needs to pick up the boxes which go to her.
А, ну хорошо. Мне вообще как-то, знаешь, очень интересно.
Specific delivery area and load them into our microvan. Yasuo, what's in your pocket?
ハンコと必要な時に使うバッグ。
So every delivery person carries a name stamp with a date on it to mark delivery slips and other documents.
鍵
It's a huge space to work, so communicating effectively between workers is important.
Хотите узнать, как зарабатывать от 100 тысяч рублей, настраивая рекламу на YouTube? Если вам не интересно, пропускайте этот ролик. Если интересно, смотрите его до конца. Рада, что вы остались. Я Юлия Карманова, эксперт по продвижению видеорекламы в Google Ads. На моем счету более 35 успешных реализованных кейсов на YouTube. Мы с вами все чаще заходим на YouTube, чтобы посмотреть видео, сериал или просто какой-то полезный контент. И, как всегда, на самом интересном месте появляется реклама. Именно такую рекламу смотрите вы сейчас. От такой рекламы выигрыши и заказчик, которому нужно привлечь клиентов в свой бизнес, и вы, как специалист, который настраивает эту рекламу.
Right now, she's sorting out smaller packages by address so it's easier to deliver. Deliver. What did he just give you? Oh, and that's her manager. It looks like they're going over material regarding new Sagala services.
So every morning before she starts, they actually clean the car, which is quite interesting, right? You can see how clean it is.
So the company has a rule that drivers like Yesuho can't start deliveries until their van is completely clean. That explains why I never see a dirty Sagawa delivery truck in Tokyo. In fact, workers cleaning at the office or students cleaning at school is fairly common in Japanese culture. It highlights the importance of your surroundings and being responsible for your own good. Now that the delivery van is clean, he's able to load the boxes for her delivery area. Where are you going now? To start the process, every morning she fills out a handwritten form with all of her details on it.
Нет, обожал просто. Ладно, я пока размышлял.
So what she's doing now is called Tango. The company must ensure that all drivers are safe to be on the road. In order to do this, every driver needs to report their health condition, as well as perform a breathalyzer test. And finally, read the safety driving rules in front of an inspection staff. Wow, it seems like Sagawa performs a lot of safety checks before they can get on the road. Damn, she even has more checks. Does every delivery company in the world do this? Now that Yasuo has picked up all of her packages at the main Tokyo terminal, she's headed to a smaller distribution hub for a specified area. Before she starts delivering packages, she stops by this area delivery hub and picks up this special Sagawa cart. She loads the boxes from the van and then pushes the cart to each delivery spot. She basically repeats this process until her van is completely empty of boxes. Now she's delivering the remaining smaller packages. What's that?
これは PDT でお客様がサインを書いたりとか、あと荷物を集める際に使ったりして、お客様がオンラインでお荷物が今どこにあるのかとか分かるために使ってます。オンラインでお荷物が今どこにあるのかとか分かるために使ってます。
So she's currently assigned to the Nihonbashi area, which is known to have many apparel wholesale facilities, so she delivers not only to regular houses, but to many apparel shops and businesses.
はい、すいません。ありがとうございました。ありがとうございます。
Why do you always say thank you twice?
いつも2回言ってまさか癖で荷物受け取ってもらった時と最後出る時に2回言ってます。
In Japan, streets are relatively safe, especially from theft, which you'll notice a bit more throughout this video. But she's still relatively safe, especially from theft, which you'll notice a bit more. Throughout this video, but she's still careful to lock her cart during deliveries.
こんにちは、サラ TV です。あります。はい、どちらを来ました？
So she's been working as a delivery person for about 6 months. So she's fairly new to her job. She says that she likes it because she gets to communicate with customers every day, and having trusted relationships with them gives her motivation.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございました。
So what's the hardest part of working as a delivery person?
結構一日歩いたりするので、その分筋肉痛になったりとかしちゃって、でも力がついた分体が健康になったので肩こりとかなくなって。
Yay! She finally finished all of her deliveries. That wasn't so bad. So, what are you gonna do now?
これからご飯に行きます。
Her PDT device works as a time card as well, so she clocks off during lunch. Do you have to change during your lunch break?
そうなんです。ご飯行くときはこの下の佐賀の制服のままご飯に食べに行くのがダメなので、上にみんな何か羽織ってご飯に食べに行きます。
Ah, I guess that's why I never see Sagawa workers eating out. Makes so much sense now. So she's meeting up with some of her senpais for lunch. Senpai is a Japanese word used for senior colleagues and mentors. So, how long have you been working at Sagawa? What's your favorite part of this job? How long have you been working at Sagawa? What's your favorite part of this job? How about you? Have you ever had trouble with foreign customers having to use English? So they often go to this Japanese izakaya drinking restaurant together. Izakayas are usually frequented in the evening, but many open kaya drinking restaurants together. So they often go to this Japanese izakaya drinking restaurant together. Izakayas are usually frequented in the evening, but many open for businesses during lunchtime to serve affordable set menu items like this place. Alright, so we're just back for lunch. She actually has a longer lunch than usual. It's about an hour and a half. Usually people only have an hour break, but I guess they have longer break times here because you're just like tired of walking around all morning probably. One thing, I'm so glad it's not raining today because it would be a total mess to try to film this. But if it did rain, this is the waterproof uniform. It also covers up the bag and device, and if she wants, it can convert to short sleeves. So her afternoon task is to visit clients to perform sales activities. Time to suit up.
Все вокруг что-то делают в интернете и зарабатывают. Но как же мне начать? Непонятно. Кучу информации. В интернете все дают какие-то разные схемы, некоторые сомнительные.
Up again.
ちょっと時間がかかるので発想を習慣するまでにできます。
So she goes back out on the same route to approach some clients. So Sagawa now has a charter shipping service where you can purchase a full pallet and send anything you want as long as it fits. It's a useful service when you have lots of stuff or large items. Now she goes back around on the same delivery route and picks up outgoing packages and does more sales for new services. When she sees a package laying in front of the store all alone like this, it indicates a new pickup. She checks for the Sagawa label. If so, she collects the package, provides the customer with a delivery receipt, and then creates a delivery label on her device. Fortunately for the sender and the delivery person, leaving unattended packages in front of the store is relatively safe in Japan.
Basically, we're walking around right now, picking up all of the packages from different clients. Her neighborhood is set, so she goes around kind of like on a set path. But if she wanted to, she can actually pick up different packages from different locations.
She now takes up the picked up packages and loads them into a waiting delivery truck. She says her job is very teamwork focused, which she loves, and in between deliveries, she enjoys chatting with her coworkers. Where are you headed now? Now that she's done with her delivery task for her assigned area, she has to head back to the main office. Wow, she's doing another safety check even in a public parking space. Amazing! It seems like a lot of Sagawa drivers are back as well. After she brings the van back, she needs to perform a final tenko. By law, these records are kept for 1 year.
So before she leaves today, she also has to do quite a bit of administrative tasks. So let's see what she has to do.
So basically, she needs to take care of the cash accounting as well. For example, cash on delivery transactions she received today, as well as parking fees she's paid. Yay! Finally done. Do you have any plans after this? She's stopping by a supermarket on the way back. Wow, it's pretty massive comparatively speaking for Tokyo terms. You're not buying so much?
Как вы считаете, смотри, ты на компании, например, работаешь, оскорблять компанию такой, работать на дядю там, как бы правильно или нет, как ты думаешь сам? Просто мне интересно. Ну, я понял, да? Потому что, да, как бы, да. Ну, он тебя знает уже, что да, ты не, я просто к чему говорю? Не чисты на руку, то есть там, как бы, да-да-да. Они имеют, ну да-да-да, эти, ну не о себе так говорят, да. Ну не о себе не говорят, нет, наоборот. Да, ну да, ну ладно, да что. Да,
Yes, hello. What did you cook?
これはジャーマンハニーです。
Many younger generations these days just buy food at the convenience store to take home and eat. But Yasuo likes to cook, and it's cheaper and healthier.
She just finished taking a bath. She has about an hour free time before she goes to bed. She goes to bed at 10 o'clock. But that's pretty much a day in the life of a Japanese delivery person. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If you guys want to see what I'm doing on the daily, then definitely check out my Instagram account. If you guys want to help support the channel, then check out the Tokyo merch. And I recently created a Discord channel for people who love Japan or people that are traveling to Japan to get their questions answered. I'll leave all of the links in the description as usual. And I have so many more day in the lives to come. So if you want to check those videos out, hit that subscribe button and the bell button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Да. Мне не нравится.
So in this video, I'm going to show you guys what it's like to work in a Japanese office.
Главный тренд 2021 года в онлайн-бизнесе – это маркетплейсы. Такие площадки, как
Только денег не хватает. Еще один звонок.
This is Makoto, a 27-year-old single salaryman living in Tokyo, and he's just waking up for work. He prefers to skip showers in the morning, as well as skipping breakfast at home, very common in Japan, and also time efficient. His house is relatively large for Tokyo, but he shares it with his family who run their business from the first floor. Looks like the rest of the family is still asleep. In summer, Tokyo becomes unbearably hot, so he dresses in cool-biz, meaning light attire, no tie, or suit jacket. Some traditional Japanese companies don't agree though, and you'll catch some of these salarymen walks. Tokyo becomes unbearably hot, so he dresses in cool-biz, meaning light attire, no tie, or suit jacket. Some traditional Japanese companies don't agree though, and you'll catch some of these salarymen walking the streets in the video. Makoto, how long does it take you to get ready?
朝は10分から15分ぐらいで準備ができます。
Makoto lives too far from the nearest train station, Akabane, to walk every morning, so he takes a mamacheri, a Japanese slang for mom's bike. Many people who live far from the station ride their bikes and park them in paid spaces, as the city confiscates bikes in undesignated spots. So there's this unwritten escalator etiquette in Tokyo.
Наоборот, нет, ну вот это есть функционал. Почему я не хочу ничего, я нормально. Понимаю,
Stand on the left and walk on the right. As you can see, Makoto's excited to get to work, so no standing for him. So Akabane is in the northern part of Tokyo, right next to Saitama. Makoto's office is located in Korakuen, which is luckily in the northern part of Tokyo as well. So he only has a 30-minute train ride to work, which is half the time.
Я не могу успокоиться просто, понимаешь? Блин, ну это... Ну, да. А, я примитивный, да нет, понял. Да наоборот. Нет, ну мама, вот это смешно, да.
For a standard Tokyo commute, but he does have to transfer midway and take 2 trains to get to work. Time to transfer trains.
Right, so I think Makoto's train is arriving right now. Let's see how he is.
Makoto, how was the train ride?
もういつもすごい忙しいです。人がたくさんいて、日本はいつもこんな感じですよ。いつもが
How was the train ride?
もういつもすごい忙しいです。人がたくさんいて、日本はいつもこんな感じですよ。いつも我慢してます。
Oh look, that's Tokyo Dome. That's pretty cool, but the trains must be crazy busy on game day. Makoto works for a company called Mobile, a SIM card provider in Japan. Makoto was hired straight out. Makoto works for a company called Mobile, a SIM card provider in Japan. Makoto was hired straight out of university, and he plans to stay with Mobile his entire career. Another characteristic of a Japanese salaryman. So he's going to pay with an IC card commonly used in Japan at convenience, trains, taxis, restaurants, and even vending machines, all with one touch. Oh, how convenient. His office is in the same building as the convenience.
ここが私たちの職場です。
As the youngest employee in the company, he's always the first one to arrive at the office. It gives him time to get the office ready and get some work done. Makoto, how many people are in the office?
3、4、5人、普通5人で、今はちょっとインターンが来てます。2人。
The first person came in. And more. These 2 ladies are interns that Makoto is helping manage. And that's his boss. Although it's a small Tokyo office, you can see that Makoto sits next to his boss without any barriers. Open seating style. What are you doing now?
アイスコーヒーを作ります。夏なんでみんながアイスコーヒーの方がいいです。
In larger Japanese companies, usually an office lady would prepare tea and coffee in the morning, but in smaller companies, you'll find the youngest person will be tasked with many of the day-to-day administration. Seems like Makoto's happy to do it though.
It's about to get really busy. We're going to be going to a lot of places, but that's kind of like what happens when you work at a small office. You kind of
Ну, тоже интересно. Да. Вы возможности конкурентно всегда, это понятно. Уникально, да. Слушай, я уже... Блин, жить тебе все равно одному, понимаешь? Не знаю, как вот сделать? Ну, как, ну, да. Ну, как сделать? Вот скажи. Художник, да, я просто ненавижу. содовую. Знаешь, есть содовую делать? Без виски, просто содовую. Свой дом. С носком где-то. Да, вот здесь. Ладно. Снял. Ладно.
Have to do everything, and Makoto, he comes in, turns on the lights, makes coffee for everyone. I don't know, is this like very similar to your country? Let me know in the comments. He's off to his first appointment now. How much time do you have until the meeting? So Makoto's official title is Marketing Advisor, which is kind of vague. In fact, his business card doesn't even have a title on it, which will make a bit more sense as the video goes on. Makoto, where are you going right now? So Makoto is visiting a coffee roaster in Tsukishima to prepare shipments for the company's subscribers. It seems kind of odd for a SIM card company to be in coffee subscriptions, but the business is part of the company's initiative as it donates all the earnings to charity called Warm Hearts Coffee Club. Managing this effort is also part of Makoto's job. So they're actually roasting the coffee beans right now as we speak. Oh wait, I think I'm missing it. The coffee beans right. This effort is also part of Makoto's job. So they're actually roasting the. But the business is part of the subscribers. It seems kind of. Makoto is visiting a coffee roaster in Tsukishima to prepare shipments for the company's subscribers. It seems kind of odd for a SIM card company to be in coffee subscriptions, but the business is part of the company's initiative as it donates all the earnings to charity called Warm Hearts Coffee Club. Managing this effort is also part of Makoto's job. So they're actually roasting the coffee beans right now as we speak. Oh wait, I think I'm missing it. Now he's heading to Shibuya from Tsukishima, which are on opposite ends of Tokyo. Another 30-minute train ride. So, where are you going now? Going now?
これからコインスペースという観光案内所にSIMカードの受け渡しをやってるので、質問がいろいろありまして、それを答えるためにちょっと直接会いに行きます。
If you've been working in Japan long enough, like me, you'll notice that there's almost an excessive amount of face-to-face meetings between companies. Even though many interactions can be done over the phone, Japanese feel it's important to meet and talk in person to build strong relationships. In fact, Makoto spends a lot of his day traveling on the train between home, office, and client visits. I'll save you from the monotony and edit out most of the traveling, but pay close attention to the time in between locations that gets eaten up by travel. He doesn't have a lot of time for a sit-down lunch, so he's gonna pick up some food at the Supa, or in English, supermarket, then head back to the office to grind out emails he missed during the meetings.
いつもこういう感じですね。机の上でいただきます。いつもこういう感じですね。机の上でいただきます。
I don't want to bother him during his lunch, so let's go forward explore on this office. That's the elevator we came in on. Here, there's a company here, so it looks like there's like 3 rooms or like 3 companies on this floor. And then you have the men's bathroom, and then you have the women's bathroom. Like all videos, let's check out what it looks like. I don't know, do you guys looking at other people's bathrooms, or is it just me? Oh, so one toilet on the floor, and with the standard Japanese washlet. And it looks like they do have the sink area, which is pretty standard as well on most floors with like these like small business floors. I think it's like pretty much required to have like a sink, and instead of having one office, then everyone shares like this like common space. You know what's actually in these boxes are SIM cards, like free SIM card service for the rest of your life. It's crazy. So I think I found something. What's this? What's this little thing here? What's this?
これは携帯スーツですよ。携帯マン。
Makoto, you